So yeah, I got a chance to take the Kinect home and try it out at my place, and I'll say it, like, I've got a big TV and I've got a big area. Playing games is kind of like my main thing, right? So a living room space that is geared for that has always been one of my things in my head. Like, if I'm going to move into this place, it's got to have big enough space for the TV, and it's kind of my thing. So the the Kinect coming into my house had a little bit of advantage, I think, because one, I was already prepped for it, because like the PlayStation Move, I got rid of the ottoman that we had in the living room because it was too big, and instead we got the small coffee table, which I had to move actually for the Kinect. It just needs more space than I play with in terms of the Move. Like it took up all of my space, and I've seen other people play it, so I was pretty surprised that it was just like, yeah, if there's all this space.
I was surprised how well the Kinect worked when I took it home, because I felt like every time I'd seen it at at events and that kind of stuff, I always felt like it was being shown in like optimum conditions, right? So it was like an all-white room with white furniture and like white walls, white floor, like everything. And I was like, okay, my apartment looks nothing like that. I don't have lights on my ceiling, like there's not a lot of light in there. So I was like, is it gonna work? So I took it back one night after work, and I was amazed. Like, it was quick and easy to set up, and yeah, it worked great right off the bat. And then I was like, well, okay, I wonder how it's gonna work the next morning, because directly opposite my TV, there's like this big window that the sun just kind of pours in. So I thought maybe that would mess with it, but it's still, I kind of closed the blinds a bit, but yeah, it still worked really, really well.
I moved a chest that I have, like a storage chest, because I have a projector sitting on my coffee table. I had to move it a little bit closer so my hands and movement wouldn't get in front of the projector. So if it was a television screen, it'd probably be a different experience, but did have to move that a little to the side, and it made my projector screen a little smaller. But my living room space is pretty big enough, but it's just, I have a different circumstance than most people probably.
The living room area in my apartment does not have a lot of wide open space, and so I was kind of skeptical that I was going to be able to do something active like Dance Central there. I've been playing it in the office for a while, but then I brought it home to check it out. The first problem I noticed was that when I put it below the TV, it was not the requisite 2 to 6 feet above the ground. It was less than 2 feet, but I couldn't put it above my TV because of the nature of my TV, so I just kind of went with it. And then I had to back up almost to part of my sectional couch, standing like right in front of it, in order to get it to register, but it registered, and I was still in the frame. It cut off my head a little bit, but didn't really seem to cause any problems. Even in Kinect sports, I was playing soccer, and you have to raise your hand above your head to activate it. It still knew I was doing that, even though I knew that most of my arm was out of the frame when I did it.
It's kind of redefining what we call a game room, right? It's like you need now a space. We used to think and joke, like, in the future, like, if games get really awesome and really cool, am I going to devote a whole room in my house to like a holodeck, right? Am I going to put up crazy 3D projection things on the walls or whatever? It's like here and now, people. It's like no holodeck just yet, but you need a room to play this thing. So most people's living room, it sounds like, will work. Some slight adjustments. The one thing I can tell you that I did have to do differently was I had to buy a $30 light at Walmart. The reality is the light made it so the Xbox would actually recognize me. It would do everything. It would see my skeletal movement and do everything, but it wouldn't actually see my face. It would just like, I can't see your face, sorry.
Yeah, I did this. So I tried the face recognition stuff, and I guess you're supposed to, maybe train it multiple times, and it gets a little better every time you train it. So I did it once at night, and then I think it already recognized me the next morning, but I did it again in the morning. So yeah, so far so good, right? Like I've had no problems with it.
The way the screen is and the movement, I just didn't, like for Dance Central in particular, seeing myself on the screen versus the character, and just little distractions, like looking there and looking, am I doing the same thing? And it's kind of like getting used to the interface, getting used to what the game is about. Kind of like, other games, like the rhythm games. First you kind of figure out where am I supposed to be looking. Overall, I liked it a lot. It's just, a learning curve that you have to get adjusted to. And then, the whole like pausing and the whole like moving, it's, certain things I was trying to figure out, and at first I was failing pretty bad, and then once I figured it out, it was pretty easy.
I was just surprised how easy it was to get it set up and to get it working, and that it was pretty forgiving to the suboptimal dimensions and, you know, lighting maybe in my apartment. Like, there are a bunch of factors I thought might be an issue going into it, but none of them proved to be a problem, and my friends and I were able to enjoy the games like without issue.
I'm just impressed with it. I just really wish they would have like done something sooner to reassure me that like, hey, this thing will work in like the real world and not just in these like carefully staged settings in which we're kind of demoing it. The one problem I have got, I guess, is depending on the game you're playing, I think sometimes it can be a hassle if like, say you're playing, like I was playing Kinect Sports in our demo room for a little while, and one of the guys sort of poked his head in to come see what was going on. And so I kind of stopped to talk to him, and he was moving around or whatever. And so then I think the Kinect was kind of drawn to him. So like, I'm not sure how well it's going to work in like a party environment where maybe you're trying to play something and there's a bunch of people milling around behind you or like being crazy. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
This whole thing is just some military scheme to get us all in shape so we go fight some alien war somewhere. That's what this is all about, but I'm going to stop talking, sorry.